Notifications, does that make sense? What I'm
Um,
trying to separate the two? I
so,
don't know if that makes sense to anybody else or not, but
so in the traditional sense of communications, in the way that you learn about it in college is there's communications and then there's marketing. The lines between those two are more blurred now because in social
Right.
media, you can do paid social media, which is more like advertising. So you can use social media purely for communication purposes, but you
Okay.
can also use it to advertise, which it tends to be more of the paid kinds of things. But just to be more general in our concepts, the communications can include all of those different things that you were mentioning as far as website, bulletins, social media. It could be sending a postcard to neighbors. It could be yard signs. It could be anything that you do to try to communicate a message either internally to the parish members or externally to try to talk to the general public to get them to come to your parish.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Just making sure that I followed the per se right path, if you will. All right, very good,
So,
thank you.
yeah, so that's why it kind of helps if we can identify what our goal is, because what our goal is, we can say we're having success using these different types of communications, but what are we measuring success by? So we send out flock notes, but is it successful in what? Successful in reaching people, in getting the message to people, or is it successful in getting people into the pews if that's what our goal is? So we have to start with a goal, and then we have to identify who is our audience. So if we look at the goal is to get young families into the pews because we feel like that's the future of the parish, then our audience is young families. So
Okay,
how are we reaching that audience? Are we reaching them by flock note? Are we reaching them by using social media? You know what I'm saying?
right.
We need to start with the goal because that's the only way we can define whether we're being successful and who our audience is.
Okay, so if I could ask Pat then, I mean, is there with the 360-degree committee and that, I mean, is this something that we're supposed to define, or has there been a conglomerate unanimous type of talk in the 360 committee of where the parish wants to head? Do we want to try to focus on bringing back, I mean, like in business, you know, the fastest, easiest customers to get are your old ones. They've already familiar with you, they know you. Now it's a matter of enticing them to bring them back and finding out why did you lose? And I'll use that term, customer. So, I mean, has there been any talk about that so that we're kind of following along with what perhaps has been communicated in that committee? Pat?
Well, really, first of all, we're trying to identify who we were, and that was all this analysis and the SWOT analysis and identity, analysis and everything else, rather than try to plan any solutions. Is not no solution plan, has been asked for yet. Now, one thing was a new mission statement and writing a mission and vision and mission statement. Now, I should find those. I think they were in a bulletin.
They were.
But they haven't been replaced in our weekly bulletin or in the website that I don't believe.
Yeah, if you go to the bulletin from, what was it, June 27th, there's a real good recap of how that committee already came up with the mission statement.
Okay.
A vision statement and mission statement, and they explained why they chose the words that they did and all that. So we're not going to spend any time rehashing that, right?
No, that's
right.
that's kind of been decided. June 27th, you found it, you said? Okay.
Yeah, so the vision statement, a dynamic growing community of disciples of Jesus Christ that strives to be a beacon of the word to all. The mission statement,
I think it was
Right
on the
here.
first sheet.
Right.
Oh, there it is.
There's the vision statement, dynamic and growing, yeah.
And then the mission statement is below that.
The mission
Worship
statement
God, strives to deepen our
through attendance at mass.
love our neighbors. So it doesn't really, and it talks about spreading his word to others. That's really the only communication sounding.
Well, engage in outreach to spread his word to others.
Right.
Okay. That was, and actually Rich and Laura's meeting was that last week? That was last week. Okay. Really talked about, evangelization is what the Archdiocese is pushing for. And that's really what, the Pope is pushing for, right? It's evangelization. And I think that's what they were trying to put in these statements, the mission statement and vision.
So,
There was a lot of people about saying we strive to be dynamic, but and I guess we wanted to, and they put, we worship God through mass, making sure that people understood that it's people have to be in the pews,
right.
So
You're right that the Archdiocese is putting a focus on evangelization. However, we're right in the middle of developing a evangelization / communication partnership around inviting people back to mass and getting more people back in the pews and helping our parishes do that. So it's not ready to launch yet at this point, but that's really how we plan to evangelize people. And when we had our meeting before our meeting with you, Laura and Rich had told us that part of the goal of your parish is to get more people in the pews and joining the parish and those kinds of things. Operationally, that was important to the parish. So is that true?
Oh, yes. Even before we started this 360 with the Archdiocese's help, what's the book? It's on my shelf over here.
Oh, I have that up. Yeah, I have it upstairs.
It's rebuilt. Can you see that? Or from
Uh-huh.
my window? I don't know,
Yeah.
This rebuilt the pastoral council, even before I joined as a trustee a year ago, was going through this book, about how to make yourselves more attractive, I think is part of what that whole book is about. Awakening the faithful, reaching the lost, making the church matter. And
Right.
they started talking in pastoral council about, okay, maybe we have to improve the music and things. So, but again, there hasn't been a lot of nuts and bolts about, how to do those things or what to do yet, but.
I have a suggestion for what our goal should be.
Sure.
I think that, so you're mentioning the parish council would be like in charge of whatever we decide to get more people in the pews. If we're going to focus on family and youth, it sounds like there's a committee for that.
Yep.
If we want to focus on educating our adults, there's a group for that. I think our goal, our group should be the helpers. We should be the experts on the communication. So if one committee decides we're going to have this adult formation, we want to get it out to the community, we want to just invite our own parishioners, we want to get it out to the community, we want to try to attract new parishioners, then that's where we come in and we say, hey, we know that our community, that's why I was interested in some of that data. Our community is filled with this many teenagers, this many young adults. We feel the best way to reach them is social media. We want to attract older people, so we think a mailing would be the best. I think we get ourselves situated where we know all of our outlets, all of our social media, sending out a postcard, how much that would cost, figuring out what all of our options are. And then when these committees come to us, we say, this is our recommendation. This is how we can help. I don't
No,
think
I
it's
mean-
up to us to decide, oh, we want to attract young adults. I think that's another committee. I don't think it's us to decide. Our theme this year is evangelization. I mean, the Arch is already working on that. So
Yeah.
I just hate to see us, trying to come up with something that, somebody else is already doing, I guess is. So, and then that's not I mean, that's still a lot of work, I think, like figuring all this out and putting all this data together and figuring out what our stats are and what our community is and who we might be able to attract.
So what you're saying, just so I want to see if I understand what you're proposing, Darla, is that this committee is prepared to be able to use all of the communication vehicles to assist the other areas of the parish who may need to communicate with various groups of people. Right?
I think so that's just in my thought, that's just a place to start if we could go.
Mhm.
from
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah,
Goal
I mean,
setting- goal
I mean,
setting-
I get that. I think it would lead to less cross-referencing because at the end of the day, so if we come up with the idea of a postcard, so let's say we want to try to bring back the old members or something, as one of our goals, just an idea. We do a postcard. Well, how do we know the other committees that are doing, like you said, the youth and what families or whatever, they're not doing one. So now are we
Yeah, that's
crossing
why
over
I say, we don't
efforts?
decide that. That's why.
They should say, hey, communications committee, we want to do this, or, what would be the best, way to achieve this goal? I mean,
Yeah.
I
That,
see
think,
what
is the
you're
job of
saying, that we're
parent
the,
council to decide what our next move is, and we're just there to be the helpers.
we
I don't
facilitate
see
it.
us making any decisions like that, like, oh, we have to attract. We have to track.
Yes, I do follow along with what you're saying. We're the facilitators of it.
sure, that can be our goal.
And I think it's a lofty one. I think,
Mhm.
getting all that data and putting it together and having a plan, several plans for people to look at, or,
Mhm.
I mean, I think that's,
Right, we
That's
could
not
start
easy.
looking into the, lawn signs, there's gotta be statistics out there, something of how well do they work? I mean,
yeah,
that type of thing. I mean, it's funny because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh my God, I would have loved to see a lawn sign that says, it's time for back to school. How about it's time for back to church?
and
It
even
could
if some of this might be a shot in the dark, we're the keepers of the, hey, we sent out this mailing, it cost us this much. This is how many new parishioners we generated. This is what kind of attendance we have. We keep those kind of statistics so that we can
Mhm.
give that to other groups and say, look, this is what Human Concerns did when they were trying to.
Right. And I think that we should also be doing consistent types of surveys, even if they're just a few questions at a time.
Mhm.
We keep asking. People will start to they'll just do it. I mean, if it, it can't be one and done. It's just got to be kind of a continual thing that they see, that they get used to, and that they mark off, because if they start to see some things from it, then they know that it's worth it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. If we keep track of what the results are from somebody else's survey, we maybe help them with the survey.
Right.
I don't know if we want to establish some kind of this mission, this identity and stuff. If we could establish guidelines, like we suggest you always use this logo if you're doing this, or we make this statement. All
Right.
the mission statement should be on everything that goes out. We could
Mhm.
kind of help with having some
Right.
identity, like people see our logo and they know it's us, like.
Right. Right.
Right, that's like
Not that
branding
it's-
guidelines.
A corporate identity, that's what I was trying to think of. We have a
Right.
corporate identity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Another thought that I would love to see is if we could make it, it'd be maybe perhaps another committee, but it would be actually calling our previous parishioners, or calling the elderly that are over a certain age and inquiring, having maybe put forth some set questions as to, you know, why have you not been back to church? You know, is it COVID? Let's find out. Is it because they don't have a ride? Is it because of, you know, I mean, let's not let that be a mystery anymore. Let's start to put some, like you said, some data with it to find out, okay, so out of, you know, 50 previous members of the age 80 and up, this is why they're not here, or 70 up, or, you know, it helps to kind of find out what they need. I mean, or what they don't need, or where they're at, and then you can move on from it, if that makes sense. But I think that the human touch and the human call would be huge, because no one else is doing that.
Nobody
I
answers
don't know,
the
maybe
phone
St.
anymore.
Mary's does, but what's
Nobody
that? I'm
answers the
sorry?
phone anymore. If I don't recognize the number, I don't call. I mean, I don't answer.
Well, maybe
That would be the
some,
older folks. The older folks still have a landline.
they'll have a landline.
Yeah.
So if our goal is to be prepared to communicate the way those other groups are needing us to, don't we have to wait to see if they ask us to do that?
Oh,
To
no,
call
I think we-
old parishioners?
no, I don't think so.
No, I think we could just go to the mall or in a meeting, just say, we're going to start to put together data and statistics for you. So for those of you that are in these different committees and you would like to form a communication to reach that target audience, let us help you by finding out the best avenue to do that in, the best format. And we'll work together conglomeratively and, you know, with what the message will say or what have you, but we can help lay it out and help put it together and get you the costs or what have you. I mean,
Yeah.
or is that too overarching?
Right, but that's all what we were just talking about, but you're talking about calling previous parishioners and asking them why they haven't been back.
That was one of my avenues. I'm just saying, that was just a thought that I had that has always been in the back of my mind, that, you know, we talk about these items that will go out, whether they're social media or postcards. But I do think a form of our communication could be just simply calling people as well. It's just
Okay.
another
I
avenue.
see that more as the parish council saying, we want to find out why people left. And I don't even know. I'm wondering if Diane knows half of that. Like,
See, and I think that's data. I mean,
Yeah,
so
but
making
we
that
just
call
pull it
is
together.
data. So
Right.
it's
So I'd like to
twofold.
I think we're getting confused in throwing out a bunch of ideas and
Okay.
instead of like laying the groundwork of, if this is our goal, and I agree with that, to be prepared to communicate, then we don't identify the audience at this point, because it depends on what the initiative is of that committee. If they want evangelization, or they want to spread the word about a specific event or that kind of thing. So then what we would go to is, what are the tools that we're currently using and how successful have those been? And then we would go to, what are some other communication methods that we could use to add to that kind of toolbox? And then we can do what you're talking about, doing some analysis of, okay, if we're trying to reach young people, what are the best ways to reach them? If we're trying to reach families, what are the best ways to reach them? So that when those other committees come to us, we have those already defined. And we can just plug those in and plug and play and say, okay, you want to reach young families about an event, here's what we recommend: social media and all these other things. And then we also have to define who's going to do all those things. Who's going to actually do all that work? Because there's no staff, right?
True.
That's definitely you know, a big problem. Boy, I got so many things. All I've got, this one of the weaknesses I put in our SWOT analysis is that, can you see what I've got up here? No central point through which all communications flow.
Yep.
Staff person. That seems to work really good for some other parishes I spoke to. And then one staff position needed to keep all social media up to date, Google, Facebook, Bing, et cetera. So,
Right. I mean, this
Um,
is easily more than a full-time job.
yes, well, I became trustee. I volunteered to become trustee. I was doing this flock note. And I'm going, I don't know what I have to communicate because I'm not in the parish office, you know,
Mhm.
5 days a week and 40 hours a week or whatever. And then they said, well, come on down, Pat. And I'm going, I'm also 72 years old and in ill health. We need to hire a staff
Right.
person. But anyways, that's,
And who's your backup?
yeah. So that's one of these, you know, the communication weaknesses. You know, if you guys, I just sent these out tonight. I apologize. I was on a golf trip with my wife up north to her sister for a long weekend. So I'm sharing some of those documents and there's a lot to digest there.
And that
again-
could be our assignment for next time we meet. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think we need to apologize for that. I think that's,
To look at some of these things, right?
yeah, and now we know why we're looking at it. We're looking at it for more
Like-
strengths. We're looking at it for data points. We're looking at it
I
for,
just sent that out. So, right.
Yeah, this is our very first real meeting, so
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we have to feel like we have everything figured it out
Yeah.
at this point.
And I also had this grand reopening announcement that through postcard direct mail thing. And here I'd itemized all kinds of things that we wanted to, you know, tell the community we're doing, you know, and maybe, I don't know who decides, you know, if we can have a family oriented mass versus all the masses being the same, you know, talked about hospitality meals. Barbie is not here, but she really believes in all that. So,
You
So
know,
that's-
one
that's
thing
a-
that you might want to focus on if you're going to send out, you know, if you're gonna, and this is, you know, this could be after we've kind of lay all this other groundwork, but I know that your parish is looking at creating a welcoming environment and doing all these other things. You'd want to
Yeah.
really have some of those things in place before you do a big
Right.
postcard mail
Oh,
out.
yes.
Make
I
sure
don't
you
see this, I don't see
are
this
ready.
grand reopening postcard happening until 2022.
Yeah,
Mhm.
or
Yeah,
I think you'll have to, and then you'll know, you know, is it, if it's Christmas,
right.
you know, or is it during Easter time, you know, are we ready and are we
Yeah.
welcoming people
Right.
back
Yep.
for Easter mass?
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
So that could determine what you're actually inviting people to.
So what I'm showing here listed was in pastoral council meetings that we talked about. So, and that document I didn't put in that email earlier, but I can share the document about direct mail campaign. That's where this was put into. So,
Mhm.
oh, there's the vision statement, and mission statement too. So, and where.
So I guess now
So-
that we have a goal, what are some things that you're doing that you feel are successful in communicating?
I would say I think your flock notes were great, especially during
Mhm.
COVID. I mean, everything was on there. You sent those, you know, via email. You could open it up to get all the music and the songs. And I thought that was very well done.
Yeah, the people at Flocknote do point out though, I have a 50% open rate, and that includes, that assumes all text, people who only receive it as a text message, that assumes they all open it. At least they see the message, so the title of the message, so.
Right.
So
Well,
you send
and
it
I-
via email and text?
Well, it's the weekly message goes out as email, but if somebody is only signed up to get text messages, they get a link in their text message to open in their browser, which is, they see the email content. So.
Right.
um,
But we do have an elderly, you know,
Yes,
group
yeah.
that not all of them are very tech savvy with their cell phones. I mean, their cell phones are basically for emergencies, probably to get calls. They probably don't even place a lot of calls.
And a lot of them don't,
Um,
a lot of them
You
don't
know,
open
if
email.
they can't say the name into it, they probably don't know how to type it. So that's the downfall. But for those that are, you know, we'll say middle age, younger, whatever, that are more savvy with that, it's very nice. So
Sandra,
I can see where
I
you
agree.
got the 50% rate.
Sandra, now that you're in our flock note, you're going to get these weekly messages. You can
Yep.
take a look at what we're sending out. Right this time of year, I'm not having them very lengthy, but because it's summertime and, and I also look at even the more active people. The tool does tell me who opens the emails, and what we should promote people is to reply and make it a two-way street more.
Yeah,
Right.
That's there.
drive
That's
them
what I
to your
tried to show
website.
you in our group ourselves, to try to make it a two-way street so we can share some things. You're
have them vote on stuff.
well,
Yeah, I
and
was gonna say, could you even say, are you planning on coming this Sunday
yeah.
or this Saturday? Are you planning on coming to service this weekend? I
right.
mean, I don't know. Maybe that'll be
See, right.
something interesting.
The
Well, one
other
of the
thing
things-
to do is to drive them to your website as well. And,
Mhm.
I'm adding all of you as note senders, by the way. You see me doing that?
Mhm.
Mhm.
So if you want to share a document or idea, and I got another note sender, I'm the group admin. You go in here and up in this black area to the left, there's this envelope, and you click on the envelope. Any of you can do this. And it's taking a while to open it. And you can put the subject matter in. I've got this little header. This is communication group, and what you're thinking. And you can put in photos and images, text with this pencil. You can put a link of a document. This is a button where you can link to websites.
Mm.
We can do calendaring, and this is the add a group. For example, we're getting, I don't know, Sandra, if we should, and I think everybody, we should keep these meetings to an hour.
Mhm.
Try to do that. That's what Rich and Laura did very well. But I created the sign up for this meeting, communication meetings, to survey, what's the best night to do this next meeting. Mondays was my fourth choice. Tuesdays was my third choice, because Mondays I got a community chorale I'm in every Monday. I've got church choir every Tuesday, which I could probably skip more than this other one. And Wednesday, kind of my second last choice. My first choice would be Thursday. So we can all rank there. We got some answers. Barbie only answered Thursday. She wanted Thursdays. So we didn't get everybody. And Sandra, you didn't get that right away either, I don't think so.
yeah, I was saying earlier that I'm pretty flexible at this
Yeah.
point, and I'd like you to meet when it's most convenient
So-
for you, because you're going to be the long-term
So we're
members
10
of this
minutes.
committee.
We're 10 minutes before.
Oh,
the-
I ranked mine wrong.
What?
Yeah, I wasn't sure that I did mine right either.
I ranked
can
it
go-
wrong. Wednesday's supposed to be a 4 for me and a Monday's a 1. But
Well, you can go
it
back
doesn't
in to that email
matter.
that I sent that in. What email was that?
So well, you're not available on that night, so we'll have to compromise somewhere else.
Yeah, but you can go back to this. You see here in me, I can
Right,
modify my
yeah, I
choice.
did modify ones, but somehow
And
it didn't.
you can modify your choices, and I could,
I'll
now
try to
here,
do
here I see 100% participation. I can see everybody opened it, okay? I can even see the links. How many
Wow,
people went to the
nice.
sign up? There's five of the people did the sign up. The note link, I don't remember what the note link was.
Now, do you get this kind of analytics on our website? Do you get how many people
No. I
search
don't-
it or click
that's-
on
They
it?
have to do the LPI. I don't know if LPI has that or not, but Flocknote definitely does. And so,
Your website is through LPI?
LPI, right. So if if we look at last Saturday, I send out 10 a.m. on Saturday morning as my target time. So it's in time for everybody to see that. 53% of the people were reached. Okay. And it shows you the hours and the bars that they opened up. They say it's a
Wow.
stellar engagement rate, because if you look at IBM and all the stats about people and emails, marketing people, if they hit 15% open rate, that is superb, but that's marketing type emails. I can tell you who 80 people, the most popular thing I've got is the church bulletin. 80 people of the 53% opened the church bulletin, but only 3 people looked at the video link, which was Bishop Barron talking about, this is praying the rosary with Bishop Barron, which was really nice, And again,
Yeah, and we're paying for that and only 3 people are looking at it? Or is that a subscription that we pay for?
well, now only 3 people open this particular email, but you have, as it says here, the parish is gifted. You can go check out all the emails or all the videos of Word on Fire. They have a new thing about Creed, which is, I'd like to get into. They've got the Sunday, Bishop Barham Sunday's sermons are in here, which are, 13, 14, 15 minutes. That's a website that you have access. These pivotal players, for example, Fulton Sheen and Flannery O'Connor are fascinating.
Are there any shorter videos? Because I think
Oh, yeah.
until you get people used to,
There
looking
are
on
short
stuff.
ones, right? Yes, there are short
it
ones.
might be better to start out with.
I
the
try to
short
keep
ones.
the ones that in my weekly as short ones. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I just got into the rosary one and I ordered their rosary online and everything else. And I can see myself, I've already used it a couple of times to pray the rosary. If I do it by myself, it's hard. But Bishop Barron goes through and he's saying it all and he's telling about the sorrowful mysteries and everything else. But, that's, I don't have statistics on how many people use this website to look at the video.
Oh,
I just know who opens the one in my particular message.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and that's been there for everybody. So,
So Flocknote is going well, but you're the only one doing it.
yes. And I talked to a similar parish that I used to belong to, where my kids were baptized, St. Pius X in Wauwatosa. They have 2 staff people. They have a manager / not bookkeeper, financial manager. And they have a young woman who takes care of their website and all their communications. She's very tech savvy. And she answers the phone during the week and everything else and takes care of it. She's the central communications person. It's a small parish whose budget is a lot less than ours. And they've got 2 people who are well adapted for the job. I'm not saying we need more people, we need the right people, But anyways, that,
Okay.
but I'm just introducing all these tools and, the direct
Yeah.
mail is something for 2022 that I could share, but everything else. So
Well, it is, oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. You can,
that's okay. Go ahead.
okay, thank you. I just want to ask you, Pat, earlier
ma'am.
you changed me to a Nov sender. Would that affect how I add people into the Vietnamese community?
no.
No,
Your note
okay, so
sender
that's just
for-
for 360.
You go into the communications group. I made you all note senders. You go into our
No, that's
Nope.
just for, yeah, oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
just the
So-
communications group.
So just for that one, but on the Vietnamese community, I will have the
You're the
same.
only note sender
Okay.
there, right? You're your communication group.
No,
You're
I
the
think
people.
I was, okay.
You and I are group admins. We're the
admin
only
for
ones that
that,
can send
okay.
messages, right?
Oh, Lon sends all the Vietnamese.
Yes.
Yes, more.
How was that? How was that visit to Holy Hill?
To Holy Hill, yes, it was good. It
Didn't
was
have the
good.
color, but yeah.
Yeah, didn't have the color. I choose it because
False
I'm
advertising.
hoping- I'm hoping someday they will go up there, like at the end of September or early
Oh, October. Middle of
October.
October, yes.
Yes, because they like to go in August where it's warmer, but I would love to go there during the fall.
look-
So
look at-
hopefully they see the picture, and next year they might want to go in the fall.
And look at Land's
Yeah.
penetration groups, 87% red.
Oh, that's good to know.
So the Vietnamese
Yeah,
community,
nice.
And we're working to get them included more in the bulletin and the website, I mean, more, Vietnamese community on the website. So,
Yeah, I think the most I get was like 94 or
oh,
95%.
that's amazing.
Yeah, but
Now
Interrupt.
that's a lot of text messages, obviously. These are
yes,
all
a
considered
lot of
open.
text. Yeah,
69, yeah, 69% of her messages go to
Yeah.
text for
Okay.
people. But I think her community uses text messaging more. And the truth
Yeah.
is, I think savvy people say their email inbox is just full of too much stuff. And you miss emails because there's just so much in it,
Mhm.
Text messages more, but I'm starting to get text message spam too, so.
Right.
So how do you gather people's contact information? How does the parish get that information?
Well, we had a sign up Sundays at Christmas a couple of years ago, not last Christmas, the Christmas back in 2019. We had a sign up Sunday and tried to encourage, and we hand out little business cards with how to sign up for it. And I actually put people off of our parish website who had emails and everything else and added them too. So
Yeah, I never signed up. I just got added.
yes,
Which is nice.
I went and added people, because at the bottom of these messages, I don't know why it's not scrolling down. Oh, because it's not a regular message. At the bottom of the messages you can choose to
Opt out.
opt out, right?
Unsubscribe. Yep.
Mhm.
And that happens, the text and everything else. So
Right.
So you
here,
you handed out business cards with how to sign up
How
for
to
this, or
sign
you
up,
asked
right,
for their
right.
information?
and what I'd love to do, see down here, you've got my info and unsubscribe. Okay.
Right.
You have those options. The reply, which is why I hope you guys will get, if I make public replies, you can use this. That way, everybody who goes into the message and looks at the message in their Flocknote account can read those replies. And that's what I said, have set up for these messages I sent you. So play with that a little bit and do that. So we're 1 minute before 7. What about next week? Or 2 weeks, right? We're talking about 2 weeks, Sandra?
That's what we had talked about, yeah, because we
Yeah.
have the Labor Day holiday.
Labor Day is next week, yeah. So
I'm in Glacier National Park all week.
the September 9th,
And I'm out until the 8th.
Oh, no, that week I'm available. I'm not available the week of the 13th. I would be available the 9th.
the 9th. Now, Sandra, was that you that just said? Because I've got
Yeah, I'm gone Monday and Tuesday.
6th and 7th.
Mhm.
Yeah. And well, that's after Labor Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's next week. Wait a minute. That's next week. We're talking about 2 weeks.
Oh,
The 13th, 14th, 15th. I'm sorry.
I'm gone that week.
You're gone then that week. Okay.
is everybody else?
Can you
okay?
sign it? Can you sign in from where you're
yeah.
at?
I will be gone on the 13th. So yeah, so that week I may not be able to.
Yeah. I know that 13th and 14th, I got choirs. I can skip that for a while, but I have a board meeting in Lake Brittany the 15th. I don't know.
I'm in
Darla,
Glacier National
can you
Park.
sign in from
I
where
don't know
you're
what I don't know what the reception is in Glacier National
Oh,
Park.
yeah,
I'm gonna
okay.
be,
at? I'll teach you how to buy a hotspot. Take it with you. If you get a cell phone reception.
use my
yeah.
phone as a hotspot. Ooh.
Yeah, well, I bought a separate hotspot for it. It works. We were up in northern Michigan on Saturday. Their Wi-Fi went out, so I opened up my hotspot and shared Wi-Fi with everybody that way. Oh, right.
Wow.
Renee,
That's so
Renee
nice.
just said, I
I
see
take
how
that
this works.
I take that as a hint I'm not supposed to be on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't get
Um,
reception.
Well, what if we just bounce to the week of the 20th? The week of the
Yep.
20th? Is it?
That's what I was thinking too.
Okay,
Because it just sounds like we're not all, in par on that week. So,
I'll be done subbing. Yeah, I might have my head back on.
20, 22, 23.
I can't do the 23rd. I have class that night.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I can't do the 22nd.
Okay.
Sorry. Wednesday nights are now my hot night.
Sandra's good.
I can do you said Mondays are not good. I could do Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday's best for me. So,
Fine with me.
Lon,
Yeah, I think Thursday, yeah, Thursday is good.
Thursday
Alright,
at
well-
7.
yeah,
And then how are we gonna let the other members know?
I'll put out a flock note.
7
Here's the
to-
contact info for Flocknote.
Shoot, I don't know why I did
Can you
that.
ask them to reply?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I could tell whether they received the flock note or not. And I can chase after.
I
it.
mean, and that they can make it that day and time.
Right. 23rd tentatively right now, right?
Yep.
7 till 8.
I'm not gonna put my wife in there, yeah. Although she likes to know when I'm busy, so I guess I'll put her back.
Hmm.
My banking career, my first 7 years were involved in data processing issues. People thought I was a programmer. I'm an accountant and a banker. I'm gonna stop all that so I can say goodnight.
Okay, all right.
I guess we learned some
Well-
things. I hope we learned some things and go with that.
Have any homework? Should we try to? What
I
would be?
hope the emails I sent to everybody and I'll, I can add some of the things. I mean, I even contacted a firm about putting video boards in the church somehow. I know that sounds like it's a non-denominational.
No, a lot of
Yeah.
churches do that. My church has digital boards.
And for this rosary thing, we used to have for 4 o'clock mass on Saturday, we had a group of people that said the rosary for a half hour before mass started. And I was just thinking, if I can just set up a TV in one corner of the, for them to pray along with Bishop Barron as an example, maybe that would
Right.
sell the old people.
So I think
We
for
have-
next time, it would be helpful to know what other things are working right now and who's doing it and how regularly. Maybe if we could have like a list of all of that, like, I think you had on your list, Pat, social media I saw and a few other things. So who's doing all of that and how often?
We have our church secretary, a parish administrator or whatever given her a title, I don't know, so.
I mean, but basically, Flock Note, the bulletin is the primary. I don't know of any social media other than that. I don't know if we have do we have a Facebook? And if we do, it's,
We do have a Facebook. The school
Mhm.
Facebook is still out there, I think. If you
Yeah, but
Google the
it's-
parish, it still says we have a parish school. Somebody-
right, so our website needs help.
Yeah,
Um,
But they're
we-
working on the website. That's progress, so.
Okay, so then, okay, that's better. But we haven't done a mailer, since, what was it, Christmas? When you did the
Christmas with
mailer
new
and
masses, right.
Easter for masses, just because of COVID, and that was basically just to make your reservation. But it wasn't really anything other than that. It was,
Right, right.
and prior to that had been a while as well, since there had been any flyers or any kind of mailing. So there's been no, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's about it. There's been nothing
So
else.
it's really Flocknote, the website, the bulletin and Facebook.
Right, and Facebook would be at the bottom. I think, and the website is not very good, but unfortunately, they have a website, but they don't know what they're getting in the way of hits because they don't do any analytics on the website.
Yeah, we'd have to find out from LPI. I'm sure they have a way to find that out, but
I'm sure, right, I'm sure they do, but I don't know if they pay for, I don't know, but I don't know. We
Well,
have to dig.
Pat,
Since-
I'm sorry, Pat, you want to respond to that? We are working, I think the website is, they working on the website and I think Diane just need a little bit more time to get used to with the new software.
Right.
Like learn her way around.
Patience is needed.
Uh,
right.
Yes.
and
So,
who's doing that?
So that's Diane and Julie. Diane is our secretary and Julie is our bookkeeper. So both of them is keep up with the website.
Okay,
And it's just new. We just,
Right.
yeah, so they need a little bit more time.
And who
You know,
does
to
the
get used
social-
to, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And who does social media? Is it one of them?
That's, I don't know.
It's
And I
been,
know, yeah.
it's
Oh.
been various volunteers from time to time. Even the website was only
That's-
maintained by a
yeah.
volunteer, not a staff member, and that is just not satisfactory.
So it's
that's-
very sporadic then, not
That's,
very.
yeah,
often.
right. It
And-
doesn't change.
Yeah.
So
And
the
I
very-
know that, oh, sorry, Pat.
I was just gonna say that the various ministries, you know, like religious ed and the adult Bible study and what do our charitable things, what do we call those? Human concerns. Those people need to continually feed the website, update it. That should be part of their job. And the church secretary doesn't know what to update them, you know, so.
Yeah, that's
Right.
stuff to be
That's
bragging
something
about.
we have to get our volunteers used to doing. And again, a central point to have that put on the website.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
very important. So,
And I know that the Vietnamese community, they don't want to have a Facebook because it will be, too much and people post so many stuff in there.
yeah,
So we will have, after Diane, get situated and we have a little something from the Vietnamese community that she can help to put it on for us. So
so
that's,
Sandra, if you want to steer us again, I put next meeting, identify our tools. I don't know what else we have, but if you,
Well, I think, so those are the things we're using. So maybe for the next meeting, what we can do is everybody think of some additional ideas. I know, Renee was throwing out calling previous parishioners and finding out why they're not coming. Another question could be for them is, what's the best way to communicate with them?
Mhm.
can
Yeah, we could
I,
have a series of questions, just a
Yeah.
few.
Right.
can I please say about that call? Because one of the meeting at the finance, and I believe Dave Venus, he was volunteer. He asked Diane if he could help him to call people. And I think Diane tell him that she was fine, she would handle that by herself.
yeah.
So I think she would like to do that, and I think we try to do that on the Vietnamese community side too.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
Mhm.
Our
So
sense
you're
is
saying
we,
the secretary would like to make those calls?
yes, so I think I don't know if you remember that past, like for the last meeting, Dave was talking about that, and he was asking Diane if he can help her with that to call people. And I think Diane mentioned that she would, she's okay with doing that on her own.
yeah,
Mm.
That,
Well, we
that was
definitely-
just last month. Yeah.
We definitely need a Vietnamese person to call the Vietnamese people though.
Yes, so if Diane have any problem, she always send it to me. And I have we also like a committee, the Vietnamese committee, they do look at the list to see if they can recognize any people that they haven't seen for a long time.
Mhm.
And I know because COVID, many of them have not been back, and some of them don't have transportation because it's not easy to ask someone for a ride during COVID. So I
Mhm.
don't know particular some people, they have been go to Paris that close to where they live. Actually, she walked She walked from her house to the parish that close to where she lived. But she still donates. She must donation every week, even though she not
Fine.
go to St. Martin of Tours for more than a years now.
Mm,
But she just don't feel comfortable during COVID and ask other people for a ride. I mean, before she have a ride, yeah. And she lived. I wouldn't mind to give her.
Oh, good,
a ride
good
before
get,
we
Pat.
leave.
I was gonna say that. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I mean she lived the opposite town with me, but I think for more than a years now, so she kind of like where she go because she can walk to it every day.
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, thank you. So I think if we can, so Pat, we can each get into this document. Is that right?
What I'm typing up right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it out as a report of the meeting. I also turned on recording of the meeting too, but we can, I don't know if anybody wants to share it, but that's not always the best, I don't think, but it's
Well,
there.
maybe we should just keep it with our members, I think, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
could be
Oh,
helpful
right,
for the people
right.
who couldn't make it.
Like Sandra who couldn't make it and Beth if they wanted to try to go through it, so, yeah.
So I think we could each think of additional ideas for communications and the audiences that we could potentially reach through those
Mm-hmm.
that we're maybe not reaching now. And then in addition to that, who could take on those things? Because I think sometimes it's easy to come up with, some grand ideas, but we have to make sure that they're reasonable, that someone can actually do them.
Okay.
All right.
All right, well, 15 minutes past our goal, but I'll share this document and, and I think the things I sent out tonight, there's stuff there that you can go through too.
Okay,
I'll add this one and like I said, this grand reopening thing, you'll kind of see what the pastoral council has talked about, and I think very important things. I really believe in that family-oriented mass idea as an example. We have to, every mass can't be the same for everybody, so. All right.
All righty.
all
And I'll
right.
send a message
Thank you,
about the next
everybody.
meeting. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Have a good
Thank
week.
you.
Have a good couple weeks. Have a great holiday.
Yes, Labor Day.
Yeah,
you.
have fun.
Okay.
All
good night.
right.
Good
Yeah,
night.
Okay, good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.